the kind who wear a tie. Button up from 9 to 5. I tried that life but said goodbye. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says this world can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Yeah. I'm unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Devin.
Yep.
God damn it.
I know, man.
I
rough.
haven't talked to you pretty much all week.
Yeah, I feel bad, too.
I don't like these weeks.
I know.
I like it when I have Devin to chat with.
I'm with you personally, buddy.
I've been sick most of the week. I actually haven't even really been on the computer much.
Same.
You've been binge watching shows, and that usually gets most of your attention when you do that.
That is true.
So, yeah.
I have a lot of stuff to catch up on, me and my mom, because, we have a bunch of TV shows that we watch, and, Slasher's coming back on, the new season of Slasher. I'm like, I haven't seen season 2. Shit. So we have to watch that, and then I was like, well, we still haven't finished the Stephen King show on Hulu. That has to happen. I'm supposed to start The Handmaid's Tale. I got a lot of stuff to watch.
Which Stephen King show is this on Hulu?
What is it called? I'll tell me, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's about the devil at a prison, effectively.
Okay.
Yeah, and one guy doubly hangs himself.
Well,
so he ties a rope around his neck, ties the rope to a tree, and then sits in the car and drives his car off a cliff.
Well, I mean, if you want the job done right the first time, you take the extra precautions, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he actually got stated, which makes sense, honestly. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second what the show's called. It is called Castle Rock. There we go.
Now, is this based off of one of his book series, or?
It's an anthology web series based on characters and settings from the stories of Stephen King that premiered. What is it based on? Characters, just characters and settings.
All right.
Some people say it was based in Shawshank because one of the prisons was called Shawshank. They're like, "Oh my god, it's Shawshank!"
But that's not the case.
No, it's not Shawshank.
Have you seen the speaking of Stephen King? Have you seen the trailer for It 2?
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see the movie though. I know I want to see the movie.
Have you not seen the new It movie?
No, I have. I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the trailer for the new movie. I'm saying.
I haven't seen the new It movie yet.
Oh, you should totally do that.
Well, we all know how I feel about scary stuff
and clowns.
And well, I mean, I'm not super freaked out about clowns. One of my favorite movies is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No, you just don't. You just want to punch clowns, like clowns that are intentionally trying to scare you. You just want to punch clowns in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind punching clowns, just even the ones that are trying to make you happy. But that's me. Speaking of double things, I'm going to kind of spin this off of your double hanging thing. Okay, so in D&D how you can't have double status effects, you can't be double poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a new set of D&D things coming out, right? I think it's coming out with a module, or it's coming out in a book or whatever. But I don't know if this is an actual rule or if this was just something that's kind of played around with and tossed around with. But I was watching a D&D stream over the weekend, okay, because they had this big event. And Chris Perkins was the DM for this particular game. And he imposed one of the players who was trying to make an athletics check to climb up out of a crevasse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy's a barbarian, but he had an unconscious woman slung over his shoulder and 2 other people clinging to his back. So it was essentially he was carrying 3 people, and he was going to try to make these checks. So Chris Perkins gave him double disadvantage. Twice.
How does one have double disadvantage?
This is how double disadvantage works in D&D, apparently. And what you do is, normally regular disadvantage is you roll 2 d20s and you take the lower. Double disadvantage is you roll 3 d20s and take the lowest.
Okay.
For like the really exceptionally hard rolls, I guess.
I don't know if I like that, but I just have
Me neither, but it was kind of unique. As soon as he did it, I was like, I don't know if that's a thing. But then I was like, well, it is Chris Perkins. And I mean, he kind of works on this game. So,
I mean, yeah.
maybe
I mean,
it's
it
a new
makes sense.
system that they're going to be trying
That
out.
they're doing or something. I mean, it makes sense, but
He also used. I kind of like this system. It's kind of like inspiration. You know how inspiration essentially will give you just advantage on a roll?
Mm-hmm.
He used something, he had physical coins that he gave each of the people around the table, and he called them mercy tokens. So essentially, they were playing in hell, so everything was just bad. And if something was exceptionally bad, or they really wanted to try to accomplish something, they were allowed to cash in a mercy token.
I hate it.
And Chris Perkins would
I hate it.
figure out the ruling behind that, I suppose.
I hate it.
Now, why do you hate that?
Because you know how I feel about games. I want them to be.
Well, keep in mind, this isn't necessarily.
Well, I like things hard.
Like, okay, true, but let me give you an example. Okay, one of the spellcasters in the group, right off the bat. First off, they all got into an accident. That's how this episode, this particular
they all got into an
game
accident.
started.
They all died and ended up in hell.
Nope. But what they did was
That's how an adventure should start off.
You had your character sheet, right? So each of them had a character sheet with, their HP or whatever. At the very beginning of the game, they rolled a d20. Whatever they rolled, that's how many hit points they currently had. One of the spellcasters was told when she tried to cast the spell that she sustained a head injury. And she, for the life of her, could not remember her spells. So she went a little while, and she ended up eventually cashing in on this mercy token right before they were going to go into combat. She's like, I'd really like to try to remember my spells. And she cashed in her token. Well, Chris Perkins, he essentially had like a giant mace because there was like this aerial battle happening up above them in like a dust cloud. He had like flying debris come down, hit her on the head again, do 10 points of damage, but she could remember her spells afterwards. So even though it's mercy token, doesn't mean you come out unscathed necessarily.
So like,
really? All right, I figured that would have been kind of up your alley.
I mean, I'd rather. I'm the person that if I had it my way in games, a lot of games, like if you make a wrong mistake, you just die. Like
right. Okay, I'm all for that. If you make a mistake or if you've been given a warning, say you walk up to a cave and there's warnings on the cave, don't enter, blah blah blah, and you decide to go spelunking in that cave, sure. But like if just storyline, if just bad shit just happened, and
I'm fine with that.
Really,
I don't think players need a warning.
Well,
I honestly I don't. I mean, like I don't. Like honestly, like I don't think. Like
well,
I do
they
that.
Don't get one unless you specifically take the common sense.
Yeah, like I do. And like, I get if you're new players, but if everybody at the table has played D&D, everybody's done this. Like no, like you don't. In my opinion, you don't get a warning. Like I'm not one of those DMs who are gonna like give you a fight that's at your level all the time. Like I subscribe to the world of RPG where like some shit's just not going to be at your level. You just need to leave.
Right.
Like you
wander out into this wilderness and you find
like a den of saber-tooths. Like, if that's just something that happens at level 1, well, if you don't run away, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel about it.
I mean, I can understand that, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I see both sides of the fence. Like, I'm not all about giving, warning after warning after warning. Which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I do. I mean, am I too lenient of a DM when it comes to bad shit?
I think occasionally you can be. I think you have your moments where you can be lenient, and then you have your moments where you are very, like I would be very, very, kind of rigorous.
And that's when players die.
And then you get upset though, and I'm like, don't get upset.
I always do get upset. I can't help it.
Let it happen, bro.
Well, I guess. Okay, looking back on the Distractions episode where that happened, which I don't necessarily know that that's aired yet. I guess looking back on it, I could have made it more clear that one of those participants was not intended to be part of that fight and was just going to watch. But then the entire group decided to make him part of the fight anyway. Which,
I mean, no. In my opinion, you shouldn't have. Like, no, that was something that just happened. It happened. Like, I mean, it's nothing to do with you.
Really?
Nope.
Man, I love the fact that you're going up to bat for me. Like,
in my opinion, we made the decision to do that. That's on us. I mean, that has nothing to do with you. You as a DM don't need to. DMs, in my opinion, a DM never needs to cater to a player, to players.
All right.
Like, I mean, and that's just me. Like, that's just me. That's
now,
why I don't run too many games anymore.
Is there a point where that essentially goes too far?
I mean, a DM should never try to actively kill their players. So yes, if it gets to a point where I'm actively trying to kill you, like, let's say I was running a zombie game, and it was the kind of game and situation where, like, oh, if you take one bite, you die, which is how a zombie game should be ran, in my opinion. You take one bite, you're dead. There's not much you can do unless you're willing to, like, lob off an arm very quickly. And even then, you still might die. Just from blood
don't
loss.
Get me wrong. I am running a zombie game. That is how that's going to happen.
I know. You're cool. I know.
If they get my big thing is I don't necessarily know that I want the restriction, so to speak, of all zombies. The only way that they can spread the infection is via bite.
No, like, I mean, bite or scratches and shit.
Like what happens if I have, because I already told them that mainly these are going to be normal ass zombies, but there's going to be some special
Left 4 Dead style. You're gonna do Left 4 Dead style zombies and shit.
Well, not necessarily Left 4 Dead, but I am going to have some special case to zombies. But I mean, do I want to have this infection spread via scratch or just via blood?
See me, I'm super. See
what
me,
happens
I'm
if you
super.
what happens if you cut off a zombie head and you get covered in blood, but you had you scratched your arm on a doorway or something, so now you have an open wound.
It's that rolls around to a variety of things, because like blood can enter your system through like what if you don't have open cut and you cut off a zombie's head, or you're just in a situation where it's close quarters fighting and you have to start hacking at zombies,
or is it even
gets in your it splashes in your eye, or it splashes in your mouth. Like
yeah.
I mean, like,
is it even the blood that is what transfers it? Maybe it's specifically saliva that transfers it.
Well, I mean,
some diseases are only
usually it is literally usually it is literally a just like I guess like not historically, but like usually it's in actual infection. And even getting bit isn't actually what kills you. It literally, you get bit and it's a rapid infection that kills you.
And then you come back.
And then you turn. Yeah. Exactly. It's a very rapid infection. So like me personally, I'm all in for when I was doing
basing it off of that, it should be, in my opinion, just okay. So you've kind of opened my eyes on this now, Devin. Thinking of it more like an infection, of just a rapid infection. Now, what would cause something to get infected? A dirty wound. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
a bite or a scratch from a zombie
Yeah, no, I'm
should
totally
cause this rapid
bites
infection.
and scratches. Like that's exactly what I feel.
Yeah.
Like bites or scratches should definitely be it. You know, I would usually like the human mouth is super dirty compared to their hands. So what I would probably do is I would say if you get bit, it's like it's a 100% chance you're infected kind of a situation.
Right.
If you get scratched, as a DM, I would make a roll secretly.
Yep.
And then play that off.
Give it a
like,
percentile chance.
Give it a percentile, and I wouldn't even tell the player if they're infected. And it's like, you're okay. And like as you go along, I'm like, I mean, you just don't feel so great. Or they start giving them like penalties to their rolls. Like just don't tell them why.
Yep.
Slowly give them penalties to their rolls, and then like in a crucial moment, like let's say you guys have to jump across like roof to roof, and it's like one person left on that roof with a guy that got scratched, and then the other two people already jumped over. And then he decides to turn right there, and boom, there you go. Like now it's a one-on-one situation. Mm-hmm. But back to loop around that conversation, back to the situation where like a DM should never try to actively kill their player. Like if I was running a zombie game and you were a player, and you're like, all right, I'm doing this, and this, right? You're like, all right, same situation. I'm gonna jump from, drop down from this taller roof to the smaller roof. All right, cool. So you do that. And there's, you land there, whatever, you do what you do. Let's say you fucked up your roll and you actually like landed on the skylight of the roof and you fell in. Right?
Yeah.
Now, prior to me saying like, oh, this, this building below you is overran. If I don't tell you that to arm you with that kind of information, or you don't or at least to give you enough information to even make a check, then that's kind of stupid in my opinion. Like if I like, oh, by the way, this building's overran with zombies. I'm like, oh, you fucked up. You crashed the skylight. You're in the room now. There's 50 zombies on top of you. Like fight your way out. Like, LOL, you can't. That's me actively trying to kill you. Or you're in this room and then I'm like, well, this is interesting. Webby's getting on my nerves today, so I'm going to there's 30 zombies on each of these exits outside. So good luck with that, Webby. That kind of thing. Like that's a DM actively trying to kill you. But like if I told you if I gave you adequate information or at least a chance to ascertain said information before you made your decision, then that's fair play.
Now,
if you had a chance to scope that building out, or you had the chance to like listen or look before you jumped, and you looked at the skylight and you saw how one, there's a skylight, two, and through the skylight, you see 5 or 6 zombies down in that room. So you're aware of that. Are you still making this jump? Yes. And you do it, and you fuck up, and you land on the skylight, and you crash right through. Then that, as a DM, I have no qualms with that. I wash my hands with it. You had the information you needed. I gave you the information you needed to make a decision. I don't think a DM should hold people's hands, but I think a DM should give a player a chance to ascertain all the information. There should be opportunity to ascertain the information they need to make an informed decision, but they should never give it to them, and they should never actively try to rob them of it.
Now, I get what you're saying, and I agree with all of that. Now, using your scenario of this building in a zombie game, okay, would you tell them to roll something, or just see if they opt to roll for something, or ask to roll for something, or like what happens if they just decide, hey, I'm just going to run into this stadium? It's like, okay,
to be completely honest
in
with
an apocalyptic scenario,
honest with you
know that a stadium is a large building, most of the time very populated.
That actually happened in Black Summer when I was watching it. They ran to a stadium, and it was fucking. They did the one thing on that show. Like overall, was the show great? It was all right. It wasn't. It was a good. It's only like 8 episodes, 8 hours. It follows multiple groups of people that kind of become one group of people, and it's pretty good, right? It's like a prequel to Z Nation, which is really weird because it's totally different in tone from Z Nation. But yeah, so they ran into a stadium, and they did the one thing that zombie movies never do, where they had people shooting, because it was a bunch of just all these survivors from different angles approaching the stadium trying to make it, because that was, air quotes, the safe zone, right? But then zombies start attacking, they start shooting, and they start shooting other people by accident. Like one of the main characters, one of like the girls in the main group, during this firefight, you see people behind them shooting at zombies. They're shooting at zombies, and after all the firefighting stopped, she just kind of looks at her chest, and somebody shot her in the back by accident. And it's like, well, that sucks. And then like one of the other girls was trying to save somebody from getting bit, and she shot the zombie in the head, and then the zombie falls over, and then the guy has like 3 bullet holes in his gut because it went right through. You know,
and see, that's something like in that, and I know Kurt listens to this too. So inside information to Kurt, unless he tells Anthony to also listen. I doubt Austin will. He might. Austin's pretty 50-50 when it comes to listening to these. I mean, that's something that they're going to have to take into consideration in the game that I'm running, is especially based off of if they get their hands on a firearm, based off of the caliber or power of said firearm, there's going to have a very, very increased chance of going through whatever it is they're shooting.
22, baby. 22,
and possibly hitting something else.
That's what I'm using in Zombie Apocalypse. 22.
22 is one. We've had this conversation.
We have. 22 is it. Like honestly, the 2 guns I would use the most, because you're gonna find ammo across the board, is a 22 and a 357 mag. Why would you use a 357 mag? Let me explain. Because a 357 mag can also chamber 38 special. Meaning you can have a 22, and even if you don't load it, I wouldn't even actually load it with 357. I would just chamber it in 38 because it's way less recoil. But usually 357s are, that caliber of gun is a heavier gun, so it'll cancel out a lot of that recoil you're going to get from a 38 anyway.
Right.
So I would just run with that. I mean, that's probably the easiest thing to run. People are like, oh, you're going to run with a revolver in the zombie. What if you need to shoot that much? Like, if you need to shoot more than a couple times in the zombie apocalypse, you're already fucked. Like. Yeah. That's the truth. Like, movies play it up, but the truth be told is, if you are in a situation where you're burning through 200 rounds a week, you're definitely doing something wrong.
I mean, unless you're capable of reloading your own bullets and you feel like you can just waste those, then sure. But I mean, if you're having to scavenge for bullets and ammo, you don't want to be burning through that. Your sidearms and your firearms are going to want to be your backup weapons.
Your backup weapons, like in the 22, you're going to that's more of a utility gun. You can use that to kill vermin and hare, rabbit, squirrel,
and people
deer at close enough range. Technically,
dude, a 22 will have enough power to puncture a skull, but not necessarily go all the way through.
Especially at like a decent range. Like if you're at like 50, 60 yards away, you, depending on the type of ammo you're shooting, like how heavy the ammo you're shooting is, it'll go through a skull. It'll get in a skull. It'll fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
But it's no guarantee it's going to come back. And if it does go out, it's going to lack a lot of the momentum to make whatever happens after that into a kill shot.
Right. I forget. I think it was some of my old coworkers back at the machine shop where we talked about this, and the 22 is like one of the best / underrated like assassin weapons, I guess.
It's the 22. If you know your target doesn't have armor, and you have to like, because so most 22 rifles are accurate out to about 150 yards. They're effective to about 400 yards. So like they can still get a kill shot 400 yards away if you can hit.
Right.
But 150 yards is pretty reliable depending on what you're shooting. A human, most definitely, with a 22. So with that being said, if you know as an assassin, like if you know your target is not going to be like behind cover, they're not going to be wearing armor, then 22 is a perfect weapon. I mean, if they're wearing body armor, like, because at a certain range, even like body armor rated for like small gun handgun fire is going to stop a 22.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, 100%. Like if you can get like, and I would shoot a lighter grain bullet. Like if it was me shooting against zombies, I would shoot a lighter grain bullet because I'm not going to try to take down a deer in the zombie apocalypse anyway, because it's a lot of meat. You don't need that much meat. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends.
Well, I mean, in generally speaking, like even if you're with 4 people, you get a lot of fucking meat off a deer. One deer that you can't lug it on is going to spoil before you can get it anywhere. So, unless you're in like a spot where you're hunkered down and you have like refrigeration and stuff available to you, it's not even worth it. Like if you're on the move, you're better off just like shooting a rabbit or shooting a squirrel.
Squirrel, yeah.
You're better off shooting a squirrel, a rabbit, or like shooting like a fucking beaver or a fucking whatever.
But I mean, if you're in a group with like say 4 people and you guys haven't eaten in a day or two, I mean that deer's mighty tasty looking.
That beer will look damn good. It'll taste damn good too. The only thing about it, like, it's just going to the work you're going to put in for it. Because the 22 is not going to drop it instantly, so you're going to have to hunt it down, chase it down.
Yeah.
Which then it's going to suck because you're going to shoot it. It's going to run. You're going to chase after it. You're going to waste a lot of energy. Then you're going to have to. It's a lot of cleaning and cutting, basically for one meal because it's going to spoil. Like if you don't refrigerate it or do what you do with it in 4 to 6 hours,
preserve it in some fashion.
It's going to spoil.
That's why you carry. That's why you carry salt around with you, people.
Just carry just bunches of salt. I mean, if you do, you could theoretically. I mean, worst case scenario, if you don't have salt, even it would suck. Like it would be fucking shoe leather. But I mean, it's better than nothing. You could just boil it. You could just chop it up into thin strips and just fucking boil it in a pot of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be shoe leather. Like it'll be like the toughest, most disgusting jerky ever, but you'll survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. I mean, like a 22, that's what I would do. But yeah, so back to the original question. In terms of, you asked me if I would give them a chance to make a roll, right?
Would you prompt them to make a roll?
This is what usually in most of my games, and I think this has been true so far, I usually start off in saying like, hey, I'm going to start off giving you guys a little bit of info on things until I feel you're comfortable enough with the world and your characters. After that, you're on your own. So if this was like session 1 or 2, I'd be like, oh, hey, you want to jump down here? Make a check. And then if you did it, this was session 9 or 10, I wouldn't say shit.
Right.
I mean, and that's kind of how I am with things. Like, if it's going to be a war, especially if I know, because I know I like when I run a game, like if I can help it, depending on the system, a system allowing, I like more of a deadly game. I like more of a game where, because D&D is as fun as it is. I love D&D. It's really fun. As a player, after like level 1, I would say between level like 1 and 3, you're kind of like, especially in like boss fights, you're kind of like, I don't know, because like one good hit and you can go down, not die, but go down. But once you get like level 5 and up in D&D, you can take a couple of hits without really too much worry.
Right.
As long as your team is competent, like you have no problem. Like even the squishy is like, even your wizard, like if he gets like smacked by the boss at 5th level, he's probably not going to drop in one hit. And then usually if the team's competent, he'll be fine. He'll be fine, next round or as soon as his turn's over, he's fine. So, but which is why I like and I dislike D&D. Like one of the things, like if I was going to run a D&D style game anytime soon, I would do it in like basic fantasy or something like that, where you have hit location damage and like your hit points are divided amongst different body parts. So if you like, say you have 30 hit points, well, your chest may have 15, your head may have 5, and then the rest is split up between your arms and your legs. So then there's a hit location. So even if you don't die, and if like that boss like swings his club at you, you may not die, but your arm may get fucking shattered, and that's gonna suck for you.
Now, Devin.
Yep.
So the zombie game.
Okay.
I want your opinion on something.
Absolutely. What's up?
Now, 2 of the people who play in this particular game, and this is going to be a game for those of you who are like, oh, I didn't know you were running a zombie. I plan on having several guest spots. Okay, because all these characters are playing essentially themselves. Maybe a little bit more of a dramatized. Yep. You know the word I'm trying to say.
The word I'm also trying to say.
Dramatization or whatever. They're playing an embellished version of themselves, essentially. Do you think now 2 of these people have not really, other than Anthony has had me as a DM for D&D, but not because I'm using the Vamp system. Hold on 1 second.
Now remind me, who's all in this? It's Kurt, Anthony, Austin. Is that it? I didn't realize you stepped away till you just. Hi, Webby sister. I think, maybe, possibly. All right. So I have been tasked to fill dead air, people. How is it going to all you people at home? Obviously you can't answer me, so I'm just going to say that you feel great because you're listening to SU, and that's what we do. Unless it's one of those weeks where we feel awful, so we're going to push all of our bad feelings off on you and make you feel terrible. But then we're going to drive you guys away, so we don't want to do that. So we're not going to do that. Scratch that. We're not doing that. I haven't said this in a while, so I'm going to say it now. Hi, Cheeky.
Hi, Cheeky.
If you're listening.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
All right.
Was that your sister?
No, one of her friends.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Anthony said, yeah, it's Austin, Anthony, and Kurt are part of this zombie game. Okay.
Is that just those three?
Just those three currently.
And from my understanding, currently that may be the first and last episode. The second episode, maybe the last episode, given their previous predicament.
All you can hear is this bag. My dad's in the background opening up this bag of chips, and he's trying to be quiet about it, and it's just making more noise. Oh, he just grabbed scissors. Now he's just going to cut the damn thing open.
Rule number one, anywhere. Like, hey, anybody, listen. Rule number one, if you're ever in a situation where you have to be quiet, just don't try to be quiet. Because it never works. Like, trying to be quiet never works. You'll, like, tiptoe down the stairs, and then you'll fucking, like, fall on your face.
Yeah.
That's how it always works. You just go, you know what? Be as quiet as I can.
Yeah, as far as this being the first and last episode, I mean, currently they left off, they were in, like, an air vent in, like, a conga line, and currently Anthony is frozen with fear because he sees a zombie in a hallway, and the zombie sees him.
There was an air vent scene in Black Summer. It didn't go well.
Well, I'm going to have to watch this show. Now,
although it was a weird air vent, their air vent was like, I guess like knee level. It's weird. Like I think it was like it was weird because I thought it was because they crawled in from the basement, so I think it was like baseboard.
Okay.
Thing. But yeah, it wasn't good.
So back to my original question now is I went through during character creation, and I've kind of explained what some of these merits and flaws are. Now, because I am using the VAMP system.
Yes.
I'm just a really big fan of this system, and it works for what I'm trying to accomplish with it. So I didn't want to have to learn a new system.
And I don't blame you.
Now my thing is, and maybe I shouldn't have allowed at least Austin to take it, but I didn't restrict him from taking it. All three of my players have common sense.
I had to read how common sense is worded in the game. I never take it because
let's look it up.
I never take it because honestly, I like to think I'm good enough at the game and I'm in your head enough to a degree where I kind of know where you're going with stuff sometimes.
Right.
So I'm like, do I want to spend the points on this? I don't know. And then if I die because of it, I die because of it. I mean,
20th anniversary book. It's good.
I know where mine is. I just got to get to it, which is a whole separate can of worms.
All right, let's see where common sense falls under. I'm under the merits and flaws. We're going to read this out loud on air so we can kind of get an idea of how it works. Common sense. We both found it at the same time. You have a significant amount of practical everyday wisdom. Whenever you are about to act in a way contrary to common sense, the storyteller can make suggestions or warnings about the implications of said action. This is very useful merit for beginning players unfamiliar with the game. Now, I do understand, Devin, that this says that the story player can make suggestions.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Also, too, it makes it goes against specifically only for common sense issues. So, like for instance, them crawling into if they're in a situation and they crawl into an air vent, would that be a common sense
Nope,
thing?
I did not. I did not stop them from doing anything.
No. I'm just saying, would that even be a warning of common sense? Because you have to think about you have to ask yourself like this is what I would say is like a common sense situation. You're like, you guys have a frying pan. There's 5 zombies outside. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go outside and take care of these zombies. Frying pan. You're like,
well, I mean, another
that's
thing.
A common sense situation.
Another thing would be like
on.
if their plan, right? If they're gathering their intel and they're formulating a plan, and if their plan was to go crawl through this air duct that they see hanging from the ceiling, but they notice, that the air duct is held up by like essentially what look like coat hooks, like that thin of metal. I might tell them once they start trying, I might say, you're not necessarily sure that those hangers will hold all 3 of you guys in a single air vent.
Can I do you one different, maybe?
Okay.
I would do it like this. I would see in that situation, I would have described to them what the air vent looks like and described it as you see an air vent. Looks like it does connect around the building. It's held up with, effectively maybe like sheet metal fasteners,
right,
things like that. Let's describe it like that. And there's 3 people there. I would try to give them the opportunity before I say anything. I would use common sense as a final buffer. Let them try to work through that. Like if somebody's like, well, is that going to hold our weight? I don't know. Let one of them do it. And then if they absolutely don't go through with it and they're like, nobody says anything, you would point out like, hey, one of you guys looking at that, like I will look at their backgrounds or look at like where they come from. Like if somebody, for instance, like father was like, or somebody was an HVAC technician. Fuck it. Why not? Just going to throw that out. Not saying they are, but if they had like somebody was an HVAC, they're just like, I don't know if that's going to hold, something like that. So, I mean, I would probably like describe the danger, but I would hide it within the description of what's being done. So you're not just giving it to them outright. Like in that, like back to my example of like, oh, you're in a building. It's like maybe a 6-foot gap and about a 4-foot drop. You see an old skylight where with the window missing and just the like the screen there. What do you want to do? If you're like, I'm going to jump down there and nobody says anything, you had common sense, I'd be like, well, you may want to be careful jumping down there because if you mess up and you land on that skylight, you're almost certain it's not going to hold your weight.
Right.
So something like that. Like I would probably maybe take it and like describe the danger within the description of what they're trying to do, and then let them work to the conclusion, and then absolutely nobody gets it, like common sense it.
Right.
To a degree. Yeah. But I would definitely make it where common sense is not a crutch,
Right.
Where and again, I mean, it boils down to you. Like I would maybe starting off, I would be a little more lenient with the common sense, but then as things go on and on and on, like you could contribute that to experience in the apocalypse. Like for instance, episode 1, they get bit. Somebody gets bit. Let's say somebody gets bit. Episode 1, they're like, I'm going to cut my hand off. You could comment and say, you're probably thinking that's not smart, right? Like that, it may work, it may not work. You don't know. If it doesn't work, you either might die or you just lose a hand for no reason, right?
Right.
You can common sense that, but at episode 15, where they've seen that happen, other people have seen that happen. They've heard stories, they've seen things, they've had opportunities to learn. If somebody tries to cut their hand off because they got bit, I wouldn't say anything. Because at that point, that's not common sense anymore. You as a person, as a player, and your character should have enough knowledge to come to that conclusion that it wouldn't work. As opposed to, that's no longer a common sense situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So I would use common sense as more of a buffer for the players, and then going into that, like, yeah. Like, there's common sense and then there's stupid. Like, there's a bad plan, and there's a plan that goes against common sense. And it's, yeah.
All right. Looking at these character sheets, I know that I had you make one as well. You do not have merits and flaws listed.
Yeah, I don't think because you didn't know which ones you were going to allow at that point in time when I made mine.
Oh.
Because remember when I first made my character sheet, we were going through them, and then it was, you were like, oh, hey, they decided to make themselves remake your guy. And that was before you guys sat on you guys were talking about it, and they all decided to make themselves. And then you were like, remake your guy, so remake my guy. And then after that, they made their characters, and then it was that. So yeah, that was before that. I mean, I can go through that and do that at some point.
All right.
That's if I ever pop up in there. Not that I have or anything. Narration of any type. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither. I don't. They jumped to so many different conclusions.
Conclusions. They jump to conclusions faster than they crawl in the air vents. That's all I'm saying.
True statement.
That's all I'm saying. And again, not saying air vents bad idea. I just haven't seen it work. There you go.
Well, I mean, I will tell you, I'm all for this idea as the DM.
So. I mean, it gives you interesting stuff to do. But I mean, like when I really think about it, like name a movie where like crawling in an air vent went completely smooth. Like where there was a long scene in the air vent. Usually, if it works well, it's like they get in the air vent and it cuts to them coming out of the air vent. Is there ever a scene of a shot in the air vent? It rarely goes like crystal smooth. The only one I can remotely think of that's even close is probably Die Hard. Usually, it's somebody like shooting at the ceiling at the air vent and then like trying to crawl past bullets, which doesn't work.
Yep.
By the way, like bad guy. If you're shooting at someone and you hear them crawling ahead of where you're shooting, aim a little ahead of where you hear they're crawling and then shoot. You will hit them. It's not difficult.
True
I just want to call out all the like henchmen that don't know how to shoot. They went to the Stormtrooper School of Aiming, as they would say on Cinema Sins. And I hate it. I hate it so much.
How much do you hate it?
All the hate.
All the
yes.
hate.
How much you hate it? Yes.
All right. Well, hey man, moving off the zombie topic because we went pretty in depth on that one. Yeah, common sense. Now, say I started running another campaign, Devin. Like
we're talking zombie campaign or a vamp campaign or
let's say vamp
mage campaign.
Let's say vamp.
Okay.
And the players I chose to have in this were, say, you, Donnie, and Austin.
I'd ban it.
You wouldn't allow common sense?
Nope.
Yeah. See, I'm pretty much on the same page. I'm thinking that like common sense, I generally give it for free to new players.
Yeah, you gave us for free when we first played vamp.
And I'm more under the impression that moving on, the longer you've played, I just don't think that you should take it. Like,
no,
yes, it's still technically
it's only a 1 point,
one or two.
In V20, it's 1. I think in Dark Ages, it's a 2 or 3.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people might say, "Oh, well, hey, 1 point expenditure for a merit, that's pretty good." And I mean, it is a pretty decent 1 point merit, but I'm under the impression that, especially you guys having played in a lot, knowing my DM style and having played in these games previously, I would just opt for you guys to not take it.
Yep. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Does Shepard have huge size as a merit? Or is he not that big?
No, him a big dude. I want to say I did make him
size, at least 6'10" and 300 pounds in weight.
Yeah, I definitely gave him huge size then.
It's like I'm a big boy.
I think Shepard. I forget. I'd have to pull up his character sheet, but I want to say Shepard's like 7'4".
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. He like towers over Roy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
I mean, Roy's not short. He's of average height.
But the thing is if you remember correctly, where you guys first met Shepard in the Brood, I made Shepard to specifically stand out in a crowd.
Right.
Like he's not a walking masquerade violation because he's not something like a
he looks like a
Nosferatu.
basketball player. He looks like a basketball player walking down the street. Like
yeah, he's definitely an attention getter. Like he draws people's attention just being around because hey, that guy's 7'4". He's guy's fucking humongous, you know. But the thing is like that was the whole point of having him around in the Dark Ages was, especially in Dark Ages, you never had anybody that tall.
True story.
And so he would draw a lot of unwanted attention based off of his size. But at the same time, I wanted to really drive home the fact that as far as the masquerade goes, he doesn't care. I mean, when you first met Shepard, his main goal, killing Templars.
My man.
So
I used to be a Templar.
And Templars are the ones who essentially start the Crusades against the undead. You know?
Yep.
So. But, anyway, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, Devin? Otherwise, we could probably wrap up there.
We probably can, but
we've vented, we've chatted.
Trying to think. Any movies you're excited about? You want to say?
Not really. Well, there's this one movie that's coming out that looks creepy, but I don't necessarily know what it's about. And that's that Brightburn movie.
The Brightburn is effectively that's one I'm actually looking forward to seeing myself. It's not even like I wouldn't even call it like a horror movie per se.
I was told it's as if Superman came down and then just became a villain.
Yeah, it's like if Superman came down, was basically either, you know, I don't know if they're giving him like shitty parents or like good parents, but he was basically just like a bad kid. Like take the kid from The Omen and make him Superman. So you just have like a fucking bad kid who's not good, like a classic horror movie kid with powers of Superman.
I never saw The Omen.
I mean, it's not great, but I mean, yeah, you know.
What about Macaulay Culkin from The Good Son? That kid was a little shithead.
Well, Macaulay Culkin in all his movies as a kid was a shithead. Like
True.
Home Alone, he's a shithead. Like,
yeah, but in The Good Son, he was like legit. Like there was something wrong with him. Like he was evil. Like
true. I'm trying to see. Let me see. Yep. So yeah, he just wakes up as evil. I mean, you know, it is a. You know, it's effectively a Superman story if he was evil. That's effectively what it is. It's not. I don't believe it's actually Superman, but it is produced by James Gunn. So there you go. I don't believe it's actually considered a Superman film.
Okay, so who the hell's gonna stop him? He's just got this evil Superman kid running rampant.
Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I can tell you right now.
Now, does he think he's a superhero, or does he know he's fucking twisted?
Yeah, he kind of knows he's.
Oh.
Let's see. He knows he's not right. Yeah, I mean, he just. Yeah, no, it's not good. I want to see it. I really want to see it though.
When's that come out?
It just came out. I think it early released on May 9th in Hungary, and it comes out tomorrow actually.
Huh.
24th, I think. Yep, tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, of the movies that are coming out that I know of, that's really the only one that I guess I might watch.
I know Swamp Thing's coming out on the DC Network.
Oh, Jesus.
Pretty soon. I kind of want to see Swamp Thing's dope. I actually kind of want to see it.
Oh, we actually do need to review a movie. It was requested via email. I checked the SU emails. They wish to remain anonymous.
Oh, God.
So we need to review Demolition Man.
I'm okay with this. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm on board. You want me back, Anonymous.
All right. You got it, Kurt. I mean, Anonymous. We lost
If we
Devin.
do Demolition, if we do Demolition Man, we also need to do Robot Jocks.
Robot what?
Robot Jocks.
I don't know what that is.
Oh man, we got you, Robot Jocks. The greatest. Robot Jock. The greatest.
Man. I mean, we still have to do reviews on some of these these more recent movies that we haven't done reviews on yet.
True.
Captain Marvel, Shazam.
Captain Marvel. Thumbs up. It was good. There you go. That's my review. It was good. It was an inconsequential film. I liked it. Did I love it? No. I liked it. It was good. Thumbs up. Dope.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Marvel movie for me.
It was a Marvel movie.
I don't really have anything bad to say about most comic book movies.
Yeah, it was a middle. Well, most.
I said
Marvel.
most.
God, movies. A lot of those DC movies. I don't know.
Like I said, I said most.
Most.
There's really only one that I did not like.
To be fair, none of the DC movies are as bad as that one Spirit movie. So there we go.
What?
Spirit was terrible.
What the hell was Spirit?
Spirit. Oh boy. It's based on like an old comic book character. Let me see if I can find it. The Spirit. I think it's called The Spirit. Yeah, The Spirit, all the way back in 2008. It's kind of like Sin City, but it's not good. It's a Frank Miller movie, and it's Frank Miller, but it wasn't good.
Okay.
It was so bad. It had a great cast. Reading the cast, right? So written and directed by Frank Miller. It had
check Discord real quick before you go into the cast.
All right. Had Eva Mendes. It had who else? It had Scarlett Johansson in it. I forgot she was in it. Wow. Had Samuel Jackson in it. Samuel Jackson was also in Kite or Kite, however you want to call it. That wasn't great. It was all right. I like the actual animated one better. Whatever. Get at me, bro. Yeah, I mean, Spirit wasn't great. It tried. It really did. I didn't like it. But was it as bad as Green Lantern, though? That's the question I'm going to leave all you viewers with. Was The Spirit as bad as Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds? That's a hard one for me. That's a hard one for me. When Webby gets back, I'm going to ask him what was the worst superhero. We're going to go through a list of the worst superhero movies of all time real quick before we get off. Real quick. Because I haven't talked to Webby in a long time. We've talked about this, and we said this at the beginning, and I just want to talk to Webby and be like, what's up? I miss my friend. Okay? Is that a problem? I miss my friend. I mean, I think it's fair to put every Fantastic Four movie on the worst superhero movie list outside of the first one. So every one after, the first one wasn't even that great. It was all right. It was passable, but all the other ones were trash. Like Silver Surfer was trash. What was the other one? The reboot Fantastic Four, the rebooted Fantastic Four. That had one fight in it. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Ghost Rider: Spirits of Vengeance. Oh man, Nicolas Cage. Why was Nicolas Cage the option for that? Somebody answer that for me. Why was Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider? I don't get it. That movie had a chance to be good. When I saw Ghost Rider and I saw the trailer, I was all in. And then I realized that every good scene in the movie was in the trailer. So I saw the whole movie in the trailer, which is pretty depressing and pretty sad. And makes my heart hurt a little bit. Not going to lie. Oof. X-Men Origin Wolverine. Man. I don't know, man. Superman 3 isn't great, but it had Richard Pryor, so it gets a pass. Batman and Robin is... Oh, boy. Oh boy, there's a lot of, you know what? I hate thinking about it. There's a lot of bad superhero movies. The more I think about it, and I hate it. I really do. I really hate it. Okay, I wouldn't call The Lone Ranger a superhero movie. You kind of can. It wasn't great. That was a Disney movie too. That wasn't great. And then Catwoman. I'm just rambling for the longest time because Webby stepped away, and I'm waiting for him to come back. And I didn't know how long he's going to be gone. And I really wish he'd come back now because I really. Now. Thank you.
You're welcome. The last thing I heard was Eva Mendes, and she's got my vote. I'll go see the movie now.
I mean, yeah. So I pulled up a list of the top 25 worst super movies of all time. So I'm just going to run through them real quick with you.
Is Steel on there?
Catwoman. Yes, it is.
I haven't seen Catwoman.
Don't. Number 2 is The Lone Ranger. That wasn't for the budget that went in that movie. The movie was not great. Number 3 was Supergirl from 1984.
All right.
Number 4 was Fantastic Four, the 2015 reboot. Yes, I agree with that. That was awful. That was. It holds a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there you go, folks. That movie, fuck that movie.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I've seen parts of the reboot, right? And all I'm going to say is that movie makes me wish that they would just make another Fantastic Four movie with the original cast.
And the original cast wasn't great. Like all of the Fantastic Four movies are abject garbage. They're all terrible. The first one was watchable. Like the first one was like a popcorn flick.
Right.
At best. All the other ones were just garbage.
Yeah.
Like Silver Surfer was garbage. The reboot was garbage. Like they were all terrible, and I don't like any of it. God damn it, Fox! You ruin every good thing. You ruin everything, Fox. Then Steel. Number 5 is Steel.
Steel made the top 5 worsts.
He made top 5 worst. All they said about it was Shaq is an Iron Man ripoff. Enough said.
Okay. SU idea.
Yep.
For future episode. You know how we've done our top 5s where we go through and we have a category and we name our top 5 favorites. Let's do least favorites.
I'm okay with this. And we can't put Booster Gold. Well, he's already
he gets an honorable mention of least favorite at the end of every fucking episode. So
right, so we can't
I'll give that to you. Sure.
All right. Fuck. Elektra. Seriously? Yeah, that movie was terrible. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Wasn't that the one with, what was it? Yeah, Nuclear Man. That was the one with fucking Nuclear Man. No, Jesus Christ. Kill me. Batman and Robin with fucking...
George Clooney? Right? Wasn't that...
George Clooney, yeah. And Arnold Schwarzenegger with the bat nipples. Yeah. Yeah.
Best part about that movie?
Yep.
Batgirl.
The best part about that movie, to be honest with you, is that when I watched CinemaSins on that movie, they broke that movie down, and I laughed so hard because there's one part where at the beginning where he gets in like the rocket, and he rockets himself over the city, and then his big plan is to rocket himself over the city. And then just he rockets up over the city to get away, and then drops right back down next to where he was. And that was his exit from the building. They're like, why the fuck did you do that? What was the point of that? What was the point of rocketing yourself up just to come back where you were? It was dumb.
My question. So Batman's suit had nipples. How come Batgirl's suit didn't?
Because I don't know. Also, too. Alfred speaks with a very British accent in that movie, and he was like, "Oh, you just came in from school," talking to her like she just got here. Why the fuck does she not have an accent?
Well, I mean, Alfred is British.
No, I know, but it's implied that she lives in Britain. Like she goes to school there, and she just came here, like to visit him. Like,
okay,
it's like, why does she not have an accent? Why does she talk like a Valley girl?
I mean,
and why is she still? And why are you still? Do girls all you schoolgirls out there who have to wear uniforms? Do you go on holiday in your school uniform? Do you? Do you really? Like, do you like? You know what? I'm going on vacation. I'm gonna put on this school uniform because she shows up in her school uniform, and I don't know why. And they make it seem like she just got off a plane, Not like she was like
Maybe-
she goes to school in the city. And she
Maybe
stopped
her
by.
school is in California, and that's pretty much she goes from Clueless right into Batman. Because wasn't it Alicia Silverstone or whatever who played Batgirl in that movie?
Yeah.
So she went straight from Clueless to Batman.
Yeah, she did. She did. That Jesus.
Seamless
You-
transition. Just as soon as the end of Clueless rolls, just start Batman up
That's
at that
kinda
point.
what you know what? That's kind of my new headcanon now.
Yep.
That's my headcanon. I'm just gonna go with it.
Man.
That's exactly what happened. I kind of want to go through like an actor's IMDb page now and like look at like a 5-year gap of their roles and just like make a headcanon for each movie of how they got to where they are in each movie.
Just find a link somewhere.
Oh, let's see, like Paul Rudd.
Oh man, I can tell you exactly where Paul Rudd's connected.
Like find a Paul Rudd movie, and then we're gonna go Paul. Wait, what? Oh, different TV series.
Have
Like
you
Paul Rudd
seen?
with Conan?
I was gonna say, have you seen Paul Rudd's interviews with Conan
Yes,
O'Brien?
yes. Where he just has the constant, the boy with the bees.
Oh, no, it's the
The
Mac.
wheelchair?
I think it's Mac and Me
Yeah,
movie.
Mac and Me.
The kid in the
That's it.
wheelchair. And
Uh-huh.
every time he goes on there, he's been doing it for like a decade. Every time he goes on the Conan show or whatever to advertise for a movie or to promote a movie, he rolls that clip. This is great. I love it.
I know. And then Conan, I love the one episode where Conan's like, "You're not gonna get me again. You're not gonna get me again. You do it to me every time." And like it started off playing the regular movie, and then it like
And then it
immediately went
cuts.
into that.
Yep.
Yep. He's just like, "God damn it."
You got me.
You know, I just want to like find an actor who has like, I forgot Paul Rudd was in Friends.
Yep. He played a boyfriend or whatever.
He did.
I think Phoebe's.
I just want to
boyfriend.
like, yeah. And Paul Rudd's my man.
Edquist would be proud of me for doing that.
Uh-huh. See, I'm more of a How I Met Your Mother guy. Like, I
Who?
love Friends. Don't get me wrong. I'm more of a How I Met Your Mother guy.
Oh, I've still yet to see that. It's not on Netflix, is it?
It used to be. I don't know if they like got rid of the deal or lost the deal or something. Netflix is releasing a lot. Netflix is canceling and releasing a lot of shit, and I'm tired of it.
Yep. Agreed.
They're releasing 56 new originals in June. Here's a full list. June 1st, Arth Dan Chronicles and O Ramona. One's an original series, one's a film. Arth Dan Chronicles. It's a bunch of Asian people. It's a Korean TV show. In a mythical land called Arth, the inhabitants of the ancient city of Arthdale and its surrounding regions vie for power as they build a new society. I'm sold. I'll watch it. I'll watch an episode. That guy has magnificent hair. Hold on. Can I do a... Like, look at this guy's magnificent hair. You got it. I can do this. Webby, it's time for you to fill dead air for me now.
Okay.
Your time has come.
That's all we got for today, folks. That's the end of the episode.
Oh,
You can't have the host fill dead air. The host can just end the show.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, and you know it. There you go.
Don't worry. Soon I'll promote you, and your co-hosting duties will also include being able to end the show.
No. I refuse. I can't have that kind of response. You can't give me responsibility, Webby. You know this.
There's another Terminator movie coming out.
Evidently, there's a
Terminator Dark
Terminator.
Fate official teaser trailer
Is that not safe? Oh,
coming out in
good.
November 2019.
Anyway, the guy had luxurious hair. I can't show it to you. I have failed this podcast, and I apologize. But anyway, so let's see. And then O Ramona. Awkward 16-year-old Andre is infatuated with his alluring but aloof schoolmate Ramona until he meets stunning hotel clerk Anamona while on vacation. All right. So that's June 1st at Netflix, people. June 3rd, we get Malibu Rescue, the series, which is like Baywatch Kids. Yeah, no, it's Baywatch Kids. It's kind of what it is.
So,
It's odd.
Devin,
Webby.
I just finished watching this trailer for Terminator Dark Fate.
Okay.
And I realized that what I really want to see, don't ask me why, is a Terminator movie where the bad Terminator is played by Ray Romano.
I'm okay with it.
Like, that's who I thought this was at first. I was like, it just looks like a young Ray Romano. And then I started thinking about it, and I just really want a Ray Romano Terminator. Like, a bad Terminator. I'm going to share this with you.
But I think it's Gabriel Luna. I think that's playing him.
I don't know.
It's the guy that played Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, that guy looks nothing like this guy, though. Oh, never mind. He does. He's just clean shaven. He doesn't have facial hair. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he had, like, scruff and whatnot.
Pachamama.
I just really want Ray Romano Terminator.
Fucking Jerry Seinfeld. He's just standing there telling jokes the whole time. He's like, and another thing.
last thing we can really talk about, Devin. It's been a week, just about.
Okay.
The season is now over. The series is now over.
Yep.
What did you think of that last episode of Game of Thrones? Yeah. All right.
Enough said.
Yep. That's all I'm going to ask. That's seems to be the ongoing consensus here. So.
All right, right here. If you want me to give an actual like,
were you happy with any of the endings?
If you want me to give you, yes, because we saw his wolf again. I don't know what the fuck happened to his ear.
I agree with Don. Donnie said the saddest part about that whole fucking episode was the dog's ear. Yeah. I agree.
No,
I didn't hate Arya's ending. I just kind of wish, I wish Nymeria showed up again somewhere.
All right, so let's do this. I'll give you my actual official answer. Do I think that ending was bad? I'm gonna say no. Do I think the ending was remotely satisfying? No. So in a vacuum, that ending is fine. In a vacuum. But if you add on 9 years of buildup, great source material to a degree, obviously they ran out of source material, but a great source material, the levels that the previous seasons have hit, especially seasons 1 through 4, and then you ending it in coming here and ending it like that, I felt it was it was more of a letdown than it was a send off. But overall, I will say, in a vacuum, is it a bad ending? Was it terrible? No. Game of Thrones with a happy ending feels weird. Everybody got a happy ending in that show.
I mean, not Grey Worm. I mean, his wasn't bad, but he didn't get what he wanted.
I mean, yeah. But all the main characters got exactly pretty much what they wanted, except for Dany. I mean, like, she's the only one who kind of suffered, but she kind of had to. But I mean, you look at Jon.
You know who else didn't get what they wanted? I can name 2 people. One,
fucking what's his name?
Sam. He got laughed at. Second, the uncle. the goddamn goofy uncle.
You know who else didn't get what he wanted? Tormund. Giant's Bane.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't get Brienne.
He'll have to settle for John, I guess.
I mean, that's fine.
D. First letter.
Or maybe he does get Brienne at some point. Who knows? Jamie's dead by a rock. Because I refuse to give that kill to Euron.
True.
He's like, I killed you. Shut up, Euron. Because that whole fight was pointless. Anyway, I'm done with that. I will go off on a whole tangent for another hour. I got to go take some candles from my grandma because apparently she's out of power. So,
yeah. Well, we will we'll end the episode there.
all right.
We will most likely not do an in-depth one. Look back at Game of Thrones.
I thought you were going to say we are most definitely not going to do another episode.
Yeah, no, we're done.
Folks.
The next thing that we talk about Game of Thrones wise will most likely be if and when the fucking next book ever comes out. We'll probably talk about that.
Or one of the prequels. Or like the spinoff /
maybe.
prequels, probably, depending on what it is.
But where can people find you on the internet there, Devin?
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie and on Twitch at Poo Killed Me and on eBay at Bells Go Crazy.
Bells Go Crazy?
Bells Go Crazy.
Shit. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jax Forest Walker, all one word. On Twitch at DM Webby. And on eBay at looking for Bells Gone Crazy. And as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Like and subscribe, or I don't even know what people do anymore on these things. Is that a thing?
That's a YouTube thing. I like it.
Whatever. I don't know things.
Subscribe. Do it.
Like and subscribe. And as always, fuck Booster Gold, everybody.
Hit that bell notification down there. Get a part of the notification squad. You know what's up.
Listen, I don't know stuff and things, alright? God damn it, Devin. Like and subscribe, folks.
I love it.
What do they do on other things? I have an Instagram, too. I don't remember.
I don't know. Just
send the little heart things
if you
on
want to
Instagram.
support us, look in the doobly-doop down below, and we'll figure it out.
Yep. Devin's got it.